Welcome all. We're going to talk about the 5 mistakes I've made running a label, my boutique label called King's Dream ENT, responding to, how do we phrase it? The dude that shall remain nameless. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time wasting stuff. I'm going to give you guys some timeline, and hopefully this video benefits the people watching it. That really is my heart. Because I think there's a lot of miscommunication, misinformation, misunderstandings, and to just give you guys like an accurate breakdown, I'm not going to talk about anybody's personhood. I'm not going to talk about any theological disagreements, anything like that. We're just going to strictly go off of the receipts. I got the receipts here. I'm going to talk about my mistakes, very, very transparent with you guys, the actual mistakes I made. No fluff, no cap, and dive into it. So first of all, let's first discuss the elephant in the room, master recordings. What is a master recording? A master recording is the actual recording of the audio file. Why does the master recording matter? Because the master recording is it's where the Spotify, the iTunes, all of that revenue comes from, right? All the revenue comes from the master side of the recording. There's also the publishing side. That's who wrote the songs. That's who pinned the songs. That's who made the beats. I just did the MP thing, right? Okay. So there's master recordings. There's publishing. I've never touched any of my artists, publishing any artists I've ever worked with. That's important to note. Master recordings is how record labels earn their money. They earn the money from the record label. The standard situation is that the label owns the master, the artist gets a royalty off the master, usually about 15 to 20%. That's not my standard situation with any artist. And by the way, the artist has to pay back their master pay back and recoup from their 15 to 20% royalty, right? That is not my situation. I'm going to show you guys the situation right here. Okay, so in 2018, by the grace of God, I brought all of our catalog over to DistroKid. Why is this good? I'll get into some of the details later on why DistroKid is good. Primarily because there's splits. Okay, primarily because there's splits, meaning that DistroKid pays people directly. So let's pull up the records. Hold up. I'm trying to put myself in the screen here. Give me one sec, guys. Hey, if you're watching this live, let me know where you're watching this from. I would appreciate that. Give this video a quick thumbs up. We'll get into the specifics here in just a second. I'm trying to superimpose myself into the shot. I know it's like, okay, cool, boom. So I'm logged into our DistroKid. So here's a record. This record's called 4 Seasons. Created February 28th. The record was uploaded January. DistroKid, anybody who's put out music knows that DistroKid takes a couple months to pay out music. So boom, February 28th. Okay, here is the record of 4 Seasons. Here is Soul Rebel. Okay, you guys following along? 4 Seasons, Soul Rebel. Now, again, master recordings. What is the master recording? Master recording is the revenue generated off of the recording of the song. iTunes, Spotify, distro, right? All that. Apple Music, you name it, right? That's the master recording. Now check this out. The master recording here. I'm going to show you guys the splits. This is 2018. Before this, we were with TuneCore. I have the 1099s prior to TuneCore. Okay, here's the master recording. Boom. Let's go in here. 4 Seasons. Let's look at the splits. Oh, sales. Don't email me, by the way. Here's my email. And there is Mr. Gibbs' email. Hey, John Gibbs. The side, you guys are going to probably blow our emails up. Okay. 50-50. All my artists have a 50-50 split. This is 2018. It's 2018, 2019, 2020. This is 3 years ago. 3 years ago, everything brought over to DistroKid. He's paid directly. Why is this dope? Because DistroKid pays directly. I don't have to do the accounting. DistroKid pays directly. Prior to this, we were going through TuneCore. I had to PayPal everybody. I have the 1099s for that. Now let's go over to Soul Rebel. Here's Soul Rebel. Here is the track list for Soul Rebel. We go here. Boom. Created February 23rd, 2018. Here is Soul Rebel. Boom. Same thing. 50-50. 50% of the revenue. 50% of the revenue. So all of the revenue, the master is what? The Apple Music, Spotify of the revenue, right? DistroKid controls the master recordings, the master licensing of the revenue. Consistently paid on record through DistroKid directly. I stopped handling people's money, okay? Through DistroKid directly since 2018. Prior to this, we were with TuneCore, okay? So that's the master recording. So to say that I own anybody's master when they are getting directly paid from the master, I don't know. Right down the middle. Right down the middle. Right down the middle. Right there. Right there. It's, I mean, here, I'll pull it up again. Soul Rebel, February 23rd. It's right here. February 23rd. You guys could all see that. 50-50. Right down the middle. Every single song. Okay? Master recording. The label usually owns the master recording. Any deal I do with any artist is a partnership. It's a 50-50 partnership. Okay? 50-50 right down the middle. Same thing with Good Religion, by the way. Same thing with Good Religion. Okay, so this notion that I took someone's master, okay, I don't know. 50%, it's right there, okay. And I have the original agreement, and I'll read you guys what the agreement says and maybe where the confusion is. Now, what happened was a few months ago, I don't know, a year ago, somebody tweeted and said something, you know, about his old catalog, and he said, I don't get paid off of any of the old catalog. And I said, that's strange because you've been getting paid off the old catalog since 2018. So I sent them a nice text message. Hey, man, I'm not sure if you know you've been getting paid since 2018. You might want to log into your DistroKid. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Hey, maybe he doesn't know that he isn't getting paid from the master recording, but it's right there. Okay, boom, log in. There it is. There it is, right? Log in, go to the bank. I literally walked him through where to go and find his money inside of DistroKid that he's been getting for 2 years at that point. It's going on 3 years. Okay, so there's that, and then there's and he didn't reply to that text message, and then we talked at the beginning of the year, and or the end of the year, I don't remember. I just sent him a text message, hey man, thinking about you, bro. Don't want to go into another decade without any hard feelings. Love you, blah 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 blah. Just real cool. He hit me back with a very gracious text message. Sent me back a Bible verse. Was like, yo, you know, I think it was 1 John about how can you claim to love the Lord and not love your brother? He said everything's water under the bridge. So I'm thinking we're cool at this point. I'm thinking we're cool. I'm thinking we're good. Everybody's getting paid. I don't touch anybody's money. I don't touch any since DistroKid launched in 2018. I don't touch anybody's money ever. Okay, I don't touch Paul Russell's money. I don't touch John Keith's money. I don't touch Jet Trouble's money. I don't like touching people's money. And I advise you to not like touching people's money. I'll get into that a little bit later. And so that's that. So I don't know what to make of that. So we'll just kind of clear the air on that. And we'll do something fun. Stay to the end. Stay to the very end. I really want you guys to, because we're going to do some fun together. We're going to have some fun. All right, now, let's go. The 5 mistakes I've made. And I brought this list. I have the original agreement. 5 mistakes I've made running. I've made running. By the way, I've sincerely have made attempts to reconcile with anybody, to be on good terms, to tap in with people regularly, to see how people are doing. Every producer, everybody involved. And I will say this, I'm opening this with any person that I've ever worked with. Producer, artist, any person that I've ever worked with is welcome to come on this channel. They could pick a moderator if they want to, and we could have this conversation in front of the whole world. I have nothing to hide. Any person. We went over the master side, okay? So I just want to start off that way. Now, 5 mistakes I've made running a label. And I'll give you guys a timeline. The first mistake I made running a label or starting a label, and generally, is prematurely starting a label. I come from the 2000s. To 2000s, everybody had a label. G-Unit, Dipset, Good Music. Everybody had a label. So I prematurely, and that's just what rappers do. Everybody that I've talked to who comes from that era started their own label. It is what it is. We've all done it, right? If you've seen how those labels have played out, the majority of them have not played out well. You know, where's Dipset? Where's G-Unit? Where's Good Music? Right? So there's that, right? So I started a label prematurely. I started a label with minimal capital. I had a studio. I had great relationships with vendors that could shoot videos, with producers. I had systems in place, but I did it prematurely, if I'm completely honest with you. And I did it, and this is my mistake. I did it out of a sense of creative codependency. If you notice, I encourage a lot of people in here to not start labels, in my Patreon community, not start labels, to not to not do these types of situations, because by and large, you may be doing it out of creative codependency. And if I'm being completely honest, that's what it was. It's like, yo, it's just fun to make music with the homies. Like, it's just fun to make music with the homies. You know what I'm saying? And I had some degree of success. Now let's talk about the timeline. 2008, 2010, end of 2010. 2008, 2010, I get married. Okay, 2008, I get married. I was making money and getting flown out to shows in 2000. I was been making music and making money off music since 2003, 2004. Put out my first retail record in 2004. Making money, selling CDs, selling t-shirts. 2004. 2008, I started getting flown out. Like, we started getting flown out. We started making good money as the Breaks. And the Breaks were initially supposed to be a band modeled after my man Ahmad in 4th Avenue Jones. Frontman, DJ, guitar, da-da-da. So the Breaks was we were doing it. And how do I know I was making money? Because, one, because I know my taxes. Two, because I paid for my wedding. The majority of my wedding was paid by music money, okay, in 2008. 2009, we kept making music. We put out a couple projects. 2010, the Breaks stopped, and I put out the prequel and the prequel EP and the sequel mixtape, making money, doing fine, doing well, right? Doing well. I did a record with Gallery Drive, making money from 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2008, started doing well. Recession hit. Stop booking colleges. Stop doing stuff for shows. Okay, cool. 2009, 2010, I'm doing well. Go back and look at the prequel. Go back and look at that stuff. It wasn't the best music, but I was consistently gigging. I was consistently making money off shows, secular shows, Christian shows, colleges, left and right. And I knew that, hey, we wanted to get into this college circuit, and because we weren't going to fit in the Christian industry, so we started branding positive rap, positive hip hop. Boom. 2011 comes around. At this point, 2011, summer of 2011, by this point, we're doing a song a week. I've collaborated with Lecrae. I've collaborated with Andy Mineo. This is like as they're on their way, on their trajectory up. JR, the who's who in the CHH space. We're at all the festivals. We're at all the events, all the arenas. We're everywhere. Okay, so that's 2011. Okay, and then 2012, Belief has his first kid. And I knew we were successful because I paid off $45,000 of debt in 2011, 2012. Off of what? Off of music money, okay? Belief has his first son. I transition. I go back to being a solo artist. And my mistake is always starting and stopping. But my second mistake, so my first mistake is prematurely starting a label. My second mistake is mixing business and friendships, right? Mixing business with friendships, because what happens is, when one person in the equation is doing more of the work, when one person in the equation is booking the shows, planning out the trips, booking the travel, booking the rental car, making sure the record is mixed, making sure everybody's paid, making sure you're everywhere on time, right? That one person is now doing the role of manager. And I remember doing this stuff, and it gets complicated when you're working on the art collectively. But when the entire burden fell on me to do literally everything else around, and anybody that's done anything with music, you guys know that, yes, it's a little easier with technology, but by and large, it requires way more than just making the music. It requires way more. There's a whole lot to it, like marketing, like advertising, like collaborations, relationships. So I'm doing all of it. I'm mixing my friendships, my close friendships, with business. That's never a healthy thing to do. And that is why, till this day, I will preach against partnerships. I will preach against groups. I will preach against collectives. I will preach against bands, because statistically, it's just unlikely that it's going to happen. Okay, it's just unlikely that it's going to last, right? So that's 2000. So mistake number 2 is mixing friendships and business, right? And my worldview is framed by scripture. Okay, a worker is worth his wages. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Those are my parameters of just how I view life. And as I'm becoming a husband and I'm becoming a father in the same window, it also says that one that is not able to provide for the needs of his family, specifically for the needs of his immediate family, is worse than a non-believer and is denied the faith. Those are my manhood parameters. A worker's worth his wages. Let your yes be yes, let your no be no. And anybody that doesn't provide for his family is worse than a non-believer. So that's how I'm gauging everything. Okay. So by the way, we've covered two of those things, right? Two of those things. Let's just go back one more time. We'll go back and look at the master splits. This is the master through DistroKid. DistroKid splits the master. Everything is split down the middle. Those of you guys that are tuning in late. So everything's right here. It's right here. And there's Soul Rebel right here. 50-50. Everything's split down the middle. Master recordings down the middle. Now, the third mistake I made is not being fully clear and fully transparent in every single detail of where the money was coming from and what was generated and what wasn't generated and how much did this cost. I wasn't providing P&Ls for every person involved, like the producers. I wasn't providing. And what tends to happen is, and this has happened to me multiple times. This is why I don't really like to work with people. What happens is when an artist starts becoming successful, a lot of it is vanity metrics. And by vanity metrics, I mean charting on iTunes. I mean, having a record that does 100,000 streams. Those involved in the process don't really understand what's being generated and what's not being generated. Everything looks bigger. Oh my gosh, you charted top 10 on iTunes. You guys don't know that you could sell 200-300 units and chart top 10 on iTunes. That's not a huge feat, but it looks way bigger. Oh snap, we did 500 people at the House of Blues, right? But you guys don't know that I sold 400 of those tickets person to person myself, right? And then I got to also pay everybody that's involved. So perception and reality are not the same thing. Welcome to the music business, right? So a thing that I was not good at, and I'm still not good at, is being clear and being very specific. This is why DistroKid is such a godsend. This is why my relationship with MusicBed is such a godsend, because I could just be like, yo, I don't want to touch any money. I don't want to touch anybody's money. You guys can go log in, look exactly what your album sold, look exactly what it did, and I'm out of it. And that's been very healthy for me because remember, I'm helping create the music. I'm marketing the music. I'm doing the rollout. I'm editing music videos, right? I'm helping shoot the music videos. I'm funding it. This is coming out of my direct pocket. A lot of this stuff, my direct pocket. I'm funding all this stuff, and I got to be an accountant, and I'm not an accountant. I didn't know how to use Excel until like 2017. I learned how to use Excel back in high school, but I'm not a numbers guy. So now you got this entire burden on me, and for me, I'm like, yo, we're going. Mind you, I'm working a job still. We're grinding, right? A song a week. Go. I'm not sitting down and thinking to create an Excel sheet and show every single person involved. Hey man, this is where the money came in. Hey, this is how much was spent. Hey, this is what came out of my pocket. I paid myself back. I wasn't doing that, and I should have, and that's my mistake. That's my mistake, is I wasn't being clear about what was happening and why was it happening. Has anybody got any questions up to this point? Those are the three things that I covered. Okay, so we're talking prematurely starting a label in the first place because I'm creative codependency, trauma as a kid, not wanting to do stuff on my own. Truthfully, and now, by the way, I worked with other artists. I put out my buddy Mikkel Anthony. I don't know if you guys know Mikkel. He's a chef. I put out a record for him. It didn't do well. I put out a record for an artist named Proverb the Poet. It didn't do well. I've put out records for my man Angel Resendez. I put out a record for him, right? Heavenly Host. I've put out other records for other artists that you guys haven't heard about, and they just haven't done well. This is 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008-ish, right? So I've been doing this for a while. And this narrative that the label jerked me and I was pimped, we're going to get into the numbers, okay? We're going to get into the numbers and who was a prostitute and who wasn't a prostitute. We're going to get into all that, but this isn't a new narrative. Name an artist that's happy with their label situation. It's very difficult to name an artist that's happy with their label situation, okay? And again, stay till the end. We're going to do something really fun. But it's very difficult to name an artist that is happy with their label situation. This is stuff that's consistently being discussed. This is not a new narrative. This is a constant narrative, whether it's any label, name a label. TDE, Kendrick Lamar, rumored to leave TDE, right? Good Music and Big Sean and that whole situation, right? So this is a common narrative in the music industry, okay? And I want to make it as non-messy as possible, which is what I'm doing this. And by the way, open invitation, any artist, any producer I've ever worked with, you're welcome to come on my channel. I come on your channel. Let's add value to people by having these conversations transparently. Now, okay, so mistake number one, prematurely starting it. Mistake number two, mixing business and friendships while doing more of the work. And that's a fact. No one's going to deny that, right? Why doing more of the work? Well, Pusha T is the president of freaking Good Music. That's a hilarious example. Lecrae is Reacher's Lecrae's label. All right, number 3 is not being clear about where everything came from, where everything went, not having systems in place. Remember, when you're starting a business, you're doing it all yourself. Listening to lawyers is another one. Listening to lawyers. Now let's get into the current events. 2015, this is where this agreement is from. 2012-ish, I'm doing solo stuff. I put out a solo record in 2013, didn't do very great. I was trying to do commercial stuff. Very bad look for me. The breaks had ended. I'm doing solo stuff. That is not going well, if I'm fully honest, right? Shooting videos still, making money still, doing college shows still. Fast forward 2014, we started doing Dream Junkies. Belief's working on a record. I think he put out Red Pills, Black Sugar. Gibbs is working. Things are starting to pick up, right? We had this vision of forming together like Voltron and then everybody breaking apart, doing their own separate thing. That was really the vision with the Dream Junkies. Like, let's combine our audiences, let's break apart. Which worked. It worked well. It worked really well. And the same circuit I applied to myself, NACA, colleges, conferences, we started doing as a collective. And so in the middle of that, we put out Soul Rebel, right? And Soul Rebel, massive success. I 6 months before Soul Rebel put out Do For One. It sold 500 units. Okay, so 500 units. Red Pills, Black Sugar, the year before, I think sold 500 units. We put out Soul Rebel. It is like 3,000 units, like crazy numbers, right? Now, prior to putting out Do For One, I didn't shoot any videos. I did one video, I think 1 or 2 videos, if that. I quit my job. This is January 2015. If you guys go back, you can go and find vlogs. I started YouTubing, aggressively YouTubing, once a week, dropping a vlog called My Days of Full-Time Rapper. Some of you guys may remember those on the King's Dream page. So I'm doing YouTube. In the middle of this, we start planning the Soul Rebel rollout. So we say, yo, we're going to do the amphitheater show. Free, okay? Amphitheater show. That show costed like $12,000 to throw. When I quit my job, I had $25,000 in the bank. 6 months into quitting my job, my savings depleted to about $10,000. Why? Because I was paying for all this stuff. Not all of it, a lot of it. So I dropped a bunch of bread on that. A free show in front of 1,500 people. Amazing event. Well worth it. But I took a massive L on that. And then and Soul Rebel did great. And then this is where the labels start coming around. Now, remember, a worker's worth his wages. Let your yes be yes, no be no. Prior to this point, all of my agreements, just simple 50-50, right down the middle split, right? What do I provide? Well, I provided my platform initially. I provided my relationships. I provided connections. I provided the video guys. I was able to orchestrate this to the point where they were calling me the mastermind. Ruslan, you're the mastermind. Literally, that was like something he would say. So I'm that guy. I'm orchestrating everything. I quit my job. My son, at this point, my son was born in November. I quit my job in June. My son is not even a year old. We go on the Soul Rebel tour, mixed results. We did a couple college shows, not the greatest tour, but that's when the label started calling. Atlantic, Interscope, so on and so forth. In this process, a lawyer steps in, like a lawyer that takes 5%. This is fairly standard. Steps in. He's like, yo, you guys got to get your paperwork straight. You guys got to figure that out. Make sure your paperwork's straight. So I then hire a lawyer. We renegotiated a contract. Mind you, everything up to this point was a 50-50 split. Right down the middle, nice and clean, no discrepancies. Lawyer steps in. We do the Soul Rebel tour. And I've never, ever pushed back against a renegotiation with any of my artists. Gibbs is like, yo, man, can you do 40 on the advance when we land a deal? Started talking to Interscope around September. This is right as Soul Rebel came out. Atlantic kind of is in the picture. September, October. He asks me to come down on my percentage. That's fine. Cool. Yeah, I'll come down to 40%. No problem, bro. No problem. No, literally no pushback on my part. So this is the original agreement. And this right here is you guys can see the 50-50 of the net profits, and then it says 40% of the advancement. We were expecting an advance. It says right, you guys probably can't see, 40%, right? 40%. Now, in this agreement, this is my mistake. This is our mistake, really, because this agreement was signed 11/20/2015. This is 5 years ago. Wow. Gosh, time goes by fast. Signed 5 years ago. In this agreement, in this agreement, what the lawyer told me, and by the way, his lawyer revised this version. The lawyer told me, hey, it's standard for the label to own the master. And this is maybe where the discrepancy comes in. It's standard for the label to own the master. And so in 2015, when he signed this, artist warrants and agrees that KDE is the sole exclusive and perpetual owner of all the master recordings. That's in this agreement that he signed in 2015. No issues with this. No issues with any of the discrepancies. Nothing. This is signed, right? We gave it to his lawyer. They made some tweaks on it. I think he re-signed it. And so this is the original. Why? Because we're going into this situation with potentially Interscope or Atlantic. I want to be worked in. Interscope was like, yeah, we'll work you in. The thing they kept telling us is like, it will be like Kendrick and TDE. That's what they kept. You guys could be like the Kendrick and Christian TDE. It'll be great. We want to get into the faith-based market. The moment we walked in, it's like, wow, Lecrae's built a business. You guys could do it, right? That was the talk at Interscope. Great people, by the way. I have no issues. I have no issues with Gibbs. Like, I love the dude, man. I got no issues with anybody. Like, I want to I miss my homies, if I'm honest with y'all. But this happens 2015, no issues. Everything is cool. Everything's cool. Now, signing with a major label takes a while. It takes a long time. So we pivot, boom, we're going Dream Junkies. What are we going to do? We are going to build leverage. I read Windy Days, How to Get a Record Deal. Mind you, I'm reading books, I'm studying, I'm learning as much as I can about the music industry. I'm learning everything I can. Windy Days, How to Get a Record. You got to build leverage. You want to get a better deal, you got to get leverage. You want to build a better deal, you got to build leverage. Okay, cool. So Good Religion comes out. The plan was build up Good Religion. We recorded some of that at Interscope, which is kind of crazy to think about. I Got the Juice was done there. At the same studio that Kendrick had just finished doing To Pimp a Butterfly. Pretty cool backstory. Boom. Everything is going well. We're doing this. The big idea is, hey, we're going to launch this record. It's going to go great. We had 30 college shows booked. Everything is just on the up and up. Like, it's just going well, right? And so it gets, the discussions get more intense. My buddy Murs gets us on Carson Daly. All of a sudden, Interscope starts calling back. Mind you, we had the conversations in September. We signed the agreement in November. This is a new agreement, right? And I think it was 4 albums. I don't know what it was. Fast forward, this is now 2016. We put out Good Religion. Good Religion doesn't really do well. And I remember being angry at Interscope because they didn't give us the heads up that Kendrick was dropping the same day. He put out that like lost tape record. I remember being angry at Interscope, like, yo, why didn't you guys give us a heads up? They're like, yo, my bad. Long story short, we're on Carson Daly. Talks heat up. July, in the middle of the tour, prior to signing, in the middle of the tour, the conversation comes back around. Hey, why do you feel like you deserve 40%? I mean, because that's what we agreed on. Like, again, workers worth his wages. Let your SBS, let you know. What we agreed on. I don't know. What do you mean? Well, I got to pay taxes, and this is a lot of pieces in the equation, and I don't think you're worth 40% anymore. Okay, so mind you, went down from 50-50 to 40. I went from 40. He wants me to go down to 20. Mind you, I quit my job, right? My savings is cut in half, right? We need a car. We need cars. And I'm like, all right, well, let's sit and mediate and have a conversation. Let's converse. We sat down with our pastor. We're trying to get mediators. Fast forward, we signed the deal at Interscope together under this agreement. Signed the deal at Interscope. Everything is cool. This is July. Okay, this is July of 2016. Remember how long this entire conversation goes. And the lawyers said, this is standard. The label owns the masters. Okay, so we signed the deal at Interscope. At the end of the year, we go back and forth. He wants me to come down on my percentage. I'm not coming down on my percentage. I came down, I think, to 35%, and I bonused out all the producers from my 35%. The advance was for 6 figures. I took my 35 or 37, I think it was 35, 37, paid every producer. I think I put aside $5,000 to pay every producer. Every producer got an extra stack. I bought a $8,000 car for my wife. I bought a $4,500 car for me that I drive till this day. And I bought equipment. And we got into the studio. I don't think we were in the studio yet. Boom. So this is July, right? Now I think we're good. I think we've worked it out. I think we're good. It seems good. listening to the lawyer. I remember looking at this thing and saying, no, we own the masters together. The lawyer's like, nah, this is just standard. It doesn't really matter. He's getting 50% of the thing, whatever. Okay, cool. So at the end of the year, we decided we don't want to work together anymore. I'm not going to go into why we decided that. He would say that it was because of these percentages and splits and him just not thinking I was worth whatever I was worth, or 40%. I'm not going to go into any of that stuff because that's my brother, and I'm not, and despite how he feels or whatever, like, I'm just not going to go there. And so end of 2016, 6-month window between when this was signed. This is a year, 6-month window later, we signed a deal. 6 months after, we decided to part ways at the end of 2016. In the way we were supposed to part ways, had a real basic conversation. Go quietly. Let's not make this a thing. Let's not make this a mess, right? I don't want to make a mess. Like, we're still homies. I still see this dude. We see each other at church. What's up? How you doing? Like, everything's still cool. Let me go on and build the Dream Junkies brand up, and maybe I can sustain myself, because now we can't do Dream Junkie shows. I just put out Americana. I wasn't touring for that. Let me sustain myself. Let me build the Dream Junkies out as a clothing company, and you just go. Like, you go. Like, I'll let you out of your contract. You go. Boom. Fair enough. And then he tweets about it. Like, yo, I'm out of King's Dream. I'm not longer King's Dream. So everybody's like, oh, Dream Junkies are dead. No, why? Right? It's this big thing, which is like, in hindsight, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it felt like a big deal. And so I remember calling him like, yo, man, lawyer said, like, I should hold on to the masters. Literally, that's what I said. Lawyer said I should hold on to the masters. That's it, right? Nevertheless, that's my mistake because I listened to what the lawyer said. Nevertheless, we're measured by our intent and our impact, right? So my intent was, yo, I'm trying to do this thing. I'm trying to build this thing. I'm trying to provide for myself. Gosh, okay, this is what the lawyer's telling me to do. I listened to the lawyer. My mistake. That's my fault. Okay, so I went over all my mistakes, right? Prematurely starting a label, mixing business and friendship, not being fully transparent about where all the money was going, listening to the lawyers. My lawyer's looking out for me, his lawyer's looking out for him. His lawyer's like, yeah, that's fine. So in that was my mistake, right? That was my mistake. On paper, he's still getting paid. He's never stopped getting paid. Never stopped getting paid. There's no other money generated from anything we've ever done besides DistroKid money. Never stopped getting paid. So that's my mistake. That's my fault. And a lot of this stuff is my fault. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm a new dad. Starting a label at 26 is mad different than who you are at 35, turning 36. Going through this stuff at 30 while you're coming out of a heavy toxic environment at a church, and it's just a lot. Like, if I'm fully honest, and I never spoke about this stuff because I went through this whole thing called men's skills at my church, and they were like, yo, give up the need to defend yourself. So I just have been quiet and I haven't said anything because I just gave up the need to defend myself, right? Because you will know them by their fruit. You will know me by my track record. How many amazing artists have I discovered? How many artists have I helped build platforms for? How many people, and I'm not saying I did the work for them, I'm saying I've helped build platforms with them and for them, and have, a lot of these guys went on to do 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, right? So it's like, yo, this was my mistake. Cool. My intent was I just want to survive. My impact was I owned the masters. Never actually stopped paying him. You know what I mean? Kept paying him. Until this day, I still pay him. I got the 1099s. Any money that comes in from sync licenses for I Got the Juice or any Good Religion stuff, he still gets money sent to his PayPal every year. I got the 1099s. I got the receipts. You know what I mean? And so that's my mistake, is listening to the lawyers. The actual impact of it is he never stopped getting paid. Now, I told you guys we're going to do something fun. Before we do that, I'm going to give you guys my last thing. The big idea is, the big mistake I made, big picture, is really just not establishing my own value as an artist and my own value as a creative and what I add to a situation. I am now in a space where I want to go so above and beyond of any artist that I ever work with, that not only do I want 50% for giving somebody my platform, leveraging, plugging them into my system, my merch system, all these different things. Not only do I want to do that, I'm not planning on working with any artist that I am not actually producing the music for. That's my new thing, if I even work with artists again. Because, like, you can imagine, I got a pretty decent track record. I think I'm 4 for 4 on the Rapzilla freshman list, right? 3 for 3, 4 for 4. I don't know. I lost track. I got a pretty good track record. I got a good eye for talent, right? And by the way, labels owning the masters is the standard practice. My mistake for listening to the lawyer. He never stopped getting paid. It's right there in black and white. Okay. And he signed an agreement for that. Now, if someone like me who has X amount of followers, who's made X amount of money, making at the time $50,000 a year from music, offers to help an artist who has no Instagram following, no real spark, but he's a talented artist, is that worth 50%? Is that worth 50%? We can have discrepancies, but that's the question that we actually have to ask. Is that worth 50%? Because some people say, absolutely. I got less than 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I could be on Ruslan's YouTube channel, and I could be on this, right? So is that prostitution? Is 50% prostitution? By the way, I'm not going to go into the particulars of the Interscope split, but they owned everything, right? They owned all the master, right? Like from both of us, they took the master from us, right? So you got the idea of value, and what is that worth? What is giving somebody an opportunity with? I don't know. To me, it's worth 50%. That's what was agreed upon term. Then it was worth 40%. I'm cool with 40%. A worker is worth his wages. That is the paradigm, and that is the worldview I come from. Right? A worker's worth his wages. Let your yes be yes. Let your no be no. A man who does not provide for his family when you have a freaking 7-month-old. That's what it is. Now, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, right? And again, you know me by my fruit. You guys should know my track record. Who is doing what? You know what I'm saying? How have I done after? I made a lot of money before I ever met Gibbs, and I've made more money since I've stopped working with him, right? And that's just the truth. Year over year, and this year will be my best year yet. Why? Because my heart, my intent, and I need my impact to match, which is why I'm having this video, and this is why I'm taking ownership for my responsibility. My intent is to help people, okay? And there's people in the chat that will co-sign, that will say, you know, being a part of my Patreon community, I've helped them. For how you quantify that, my goal is to, 10x return. Anybody I help, I want to help. I want to get to the next level. I want to create systems. I want to help them build their businesses. And there's a lot of people that will tell you that, right? So, but I need the impact to be measured, right? I need the impact to be measured. And this is consistently my track record of how many people have made good money with me and have went on to make good money after me, right? It's a good amount of people. Now, I told you guys we're going to do something fun. You guys ready? I don't think y'all ready. All right, let's see. Let's do this. Okay, we're going to go into here. All right, y'all ready? Just cuz I don't want to be right. I want to be reconciled. I don't want to be righteous. I want to be restored. And again, this is no knock, no personal shot. Maybe he wasn't paying attention to the distro kid. Maybe he didn't know. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's see if this, hope this lets me do this. All right. Told you guys we're going to do something fun. Okay. Did you guys see that? 100%. There it is. Boom. 100%. Let's see. Hopefully we can save those changes. Boom. Oh, shoot. What the freak is my password? I'm the worst, guys. Yo, how embarrassing would it be if I can't remember my password? Let me log in. I totally forgot my password. This is so anticlimactic. We're not gonna do any. I'm not gonna do. The comments on this video are off. I don't want to have any more conversations about this stuff. I don't want no more chatter about this stuff. I don't. Boom. There you go. That's 4 seasons. Let's go into Soul Rebel. Okay. 100%. 100%. This is a legally binding agreement. I don't own anything that has his name attached to it as a solo artist. And by the way, he's still getting paid from Good Religion. and he's still getting publishing from Good Religion. I don't control any of his publishing on Soul Rebel. So, you know, Kanye talking about giving people their masters back. I'm giving him his half of the masters back. By the way, let's not say Ruslan, crew, Christian hip hop, whoever's in this chat, don't run this as Ruslan gives John gives his master. Don't do that. I gave him his half of the master back. I was planning to do this at the end of the year anyway, but I figured why not. Boom, there we go. There we go. So there you have it. There you have it, right? Liberation, freedom. You know, and I think sometimes as creatives, we have blind spots. I have blind spots. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got blind guys. I'm not perfect, Joe. And that's not an excuse. Like, I gave you guys the mistakes I've made in this situation. At the end of the day, like, gosh, I still love that dude, man. Like for real. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like, that was like my little brother. But what happens is when you become that mentor-like figure, the moment you slip up, right? A moment of not a sin of commission, but a sin of omission. A sin of commission is when you're intentionally trying to break the law of God. A sin of omission is when you fall short and you don't know you fall short. When I fell short in these things, from the very root of why I started the label, right? Creative codependency, to mixing business and friendship, right? Because it's lonely. Y'all know how hard it is to make music. And that's why we have the Patreon community, right? Like, some of y'all paying $5 a month, some of y'all paying $15 a month. There's camaraderie happening there. Having to handle people's money, listening to lawyers and not being clear about my own value, really out of insecurity because I wasn't sure if I was going to be an artist or I wanted to be an artist. Now I want to be an artist. Now I know what I want to do and I want to make all my own beats. And so, and I say all this to say, we all have chips on our shoulders. We all have things that we're kind of pulling for to, like, yeah, now I'm going to show them, right? And maybe that's what this is. Like, maybe that's what this was on his part. I know he, congratulations. He's newlywed. Congratulations. Like, I don't know what that is. I want to hear him rap. I think he's a phenomenal rapper. I go back and I listen to his stuff or the stuff we made together and it gives me goosebumps. And I I love that dude, man. And so again, I don't want to be right. I want to be reconciled. I want to be restored. I want to be blameless. And so it's not about, Trevor said, if a workman is worthy of hire, then why don't you keep the 5%, 50%? Because it's for what? For what? Because then it'll always be some discrepancy. You know what I'm saying? There'll always be some discrepancy. And it's not about the money. To me, it was about the principle. Like, the principle was like, yo, bro, like, okay, cool. You don't see the value Now I'm in a spot where anybody I work with, I want to go above and beyond. Like, I'm trying to create, and I think the idea of a label is just, we're moving past that, right? But the idea of, like, yo, I want to create budgets for artists that they never have to recoup. I want to create things that I pay for that like the artists never have to pay me back for, right? That a label makes you pay back from so in a traditional situation, if we have a 50-50 split and we spend $10,000 on an album, we would have to generate $20,000 because the 50% would pay back my $10,000 investment. That's not how I did things, but I want to do things where, like, I could just put up bread for artists and not even worry about it, that there's always money going out and there's always money on Facebook advertising and production and mixing and whatever it is that's needed, that I don't even have to worry about stuff. You know what I'm saying? That the artist doesn't have to feel like they're in debt to me, that we just all level up. You know what I mean? And so a worker is worth his wages, but this isn't worth it. Like, this is not worth it. And I hope that, and I know he's probably going to watch this video. I hope this, but, like, I'm not trying to be arrogant. Like, I'm not trying to troll. I'm really not trying to do any of that, man. Like, there was an amazing amount of camaraderie. There was some amazing art done in that window of time. And it was fun. You know what I'm saying? And by the grace of God, I'm doing better. And I'm healthy, and I've gone to therapy and counseling. Right? And God is good. You know what I'm saying? And God is good. And And Belief is doing amazing. And I'm so like ecstatic about his success. Somebody asked me the other day, do I feel a way when my artist or the artist that I signed or discovered or whatever word you want to, I don't even like that word, but do I feel a way when they get bigger than me? No, I celebrate it. That's amazing. Gibbs signing to Interscope was a win for all of us. He was supposed to smash through that door. We were supposed to be the Christian TDE and take over the world. You know what I'm saying? And so like it didn't work out that way, but I'm doing great. Like I'm doing great. And I want you guys to know that, like, again, it's not about being right. And that's a gem that KJ52 dropped on me, by the way. It's not about being right. It's about being reconciled and restored. And so shout out to him, man. So, and by the way, all y'all that are gonna run this, That's Not Christian, the Crew Hip Hop Corner, let's not say Ruslan gave Gibbs his masters back. Let's say Ruslan gave Gibbs his half of the masters back. Let's just be clear, because that's actually what happened. Okay, he was getting paid all along. He has it. This is a legally binding statement. He owns his master. Don't own anything, right? And I don't want to handle anybody's money. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? There you go. And by the way, next time y'all run something, and I'm talking to y'all, That's Christian and the Crew, hit me first and ask for a statement. Like, that's kind of responsible journalism. Like, hit me first and be like, yo, like, you got anything to say about this? Like, nah, yes, I don't know. I don't like talking about other people's business. You know what I'm saying? And I got, by the way, I have 1099s. I have more receipts. I'm not, it's just not, none of that stuff is worth it. But listen. If you guys are like, yo, that's cool, dope, may this be an example for you guys to avoid these mistakes. May this be an example for y'all to avoid these mistakes. Two, may my vision of how I'm rethinking of where King's Dream is going, and again, I've never pushed back on a split with an artist, ever. Anytime an artist has asked for a different split, I've always accommodated. But I want to rethink it, and I want to be even more generous. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys appreciate that, if you guys like that, like, partner with us. And I don't mean that word loosely. I mean, like, legitimately, like, partner with us. Like, get behind what we're doing, because to me, I'm not going to let this situation define me or define my creative peak or my clout levels of whatever. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. You don't do that. Let's speak well of each other. And let's all level up. There's abundance. Like, scarcity says someone is prostituting me, right? And I'm not saying I'm just saying, like, that mentality. There's abundance. He could be rich. I could be rich. Bart could be rich. That's Not Christian could be rich. Truther could be rich. Like, and I'm not saying rich for the sake of being rich. I'm saying rich so why? So we can help other people. So we can lift people up with us. So we can freaking take care of the widow, take care of the orphan, build orphanages. Like, I heard Kanye's thing on Joe Rogan about, like, making adoption, rethinking how that works. Like, we could do so much with Kingdom Resource. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, I got a record coming out tonight. It's called Politically Agnostic. There's a merch drop coming out tomorrow at 6 p.m. If y'all care, partner with us that way. Anybody I've ever worked with, and by the way, I've privately reached out to every single person in the recent future. There's PayPal statements of everybody getting paid, but anybody that I've ever worked with is more than welcome to come on here anytime. I'm not trying to air nobody out or anything like that, but anybody's willing to come on. We could have this conversation. We could have a moderator, a mutual party. I'm not saying I'm right. Like, I'm not saying I'm right, guys. I'm just saying this is what's black. This is what's in black and white. Y'all saw the 50% split. Y'all saw that going back 3 years. This is what's in black and white. And yeah, man. Anyway, check out this trailer, merch drop tomorrow. Got these hoodies coming out if y'all want to support or not.
The country is coming to a place where they're just going to be so incredibly tired of this. Political parties operate in many ways like cartels. They are run by extremists. The majority of Americans do not have a sensible choice.
How you Christian but politically agnostic.
That's the way the primary system runs. George Washington's farewell address warned us of political parties. He said they operate like lobbyists. They care more about their own power. Beware and be careful.
They start fear mongering. That's my cue to
And we did not heed his advice.